I'm Al Filreis,
I'm Anna Safford.
and this is ModPoMinute, actually 5 minutes.
We're hoping to scratch the surface of a short poem that we like.
So let's get started. Well, I'm here with Gabriel Ojeda-Sagué. Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Al. How are you?
We're in the kitchen of the writer's house.
New counters.
And beautiful new counters. Well, we're here to talk about a poem by Amiri Baraka called Note to A.B. Before we start talking about it, would you read it?
Yeah. Note to A.B. I became a poet because everything beautiful seemed poetic to me. I thought there were things I didn't understand that would make the world poetry. I felt I knew who I was but had to struggle to catch up with myself. Now I do see me sometimes, a few worlds ahead, and I speed up then. Put my head down, stretch my stride out, and dig. There me go, I scat and sing, there me go.
What does he mean by dig, do you think?
I think it's like the work of poetry writing. It's that this stretching of the stride out is kind of like that setup, that really just getting sat down and kind of getting ready for the work. And then digging feels like not just writing and doing the writing, but self-reflecting, kind of trying to catch up with yourself in a way.
And dig, I mean, we get a lot of other senses of dig. I mean, dig in the late 50s and most of the 60s would mean what?
Like kind of vibing, feeling good.
Yeah. So if I dig that, I like it. But if I'm digging, it means that I'm doing the work and getting some special deep pleasure from it.
Yeah.
It's a somewhat unusual Baraka poem, but he begins by sort of telling us where he comes from. What does he say?
Well, he says that he thought that things that were beautiful must be poetic, in quotes.
And what does he mean? Why does he put poetic in quotes?
Well, because I guess it's like, you know how people sometimes say something is poetic that's not just poetry? Maybe it means it has some kind of special feeling to it, or it feels more...
In the Hallmark card sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
like it feels more true or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess he thinks everything beautiful seemed like that, and so he thought, why not poetry?
Oh, so he's saying, I originally became a poet for the wrong reasons, or somewhat for the wrong reasons, because I looked around the world and I thought things were poetic and I need to be a poet.
That's kind of what I thought,
Okay,
yeah.
so what happens later when he realizes there's more to than the way he thought originally?
I guess the next thing would be seeing that poetry might be a way to figure himself out in a larger way, in a more clear sense, catching up with himself. And that's not a beautiful or easy thing, it's actually a struggle, capital S, and it's work.
So he struggles, he catches up, and catching up works really well with the metaphorical terrain of the last part of it, which is striding. So can you take us from struggling, catching up to the end where he goes?
Yeah, it seems like he says now, and that now feels like when he's in a poem. Now in this poem, I see me in front of me.
Self-referential.
I think
word.
so. Now I see me in front of me, and I have to get there. And that's where that stretching out, getting ready to move is.
So this is super metaphysical in the sense that he's writing the poem as a way of catching up to himself, and he's kind of got to catch up to where the poem is going. And yet this poem is about that process.
Right.
Which is why I picked it, probably, because I like poems like that. Let's do the last two lines.
Okay.
There me go, I scat and sing, there me go. That's pretty cool.
It is nice. It's nice. It's because it's like, it doesn't feel like running. It actually almost feels like a easy, relaxed stride, like moving along and kind of actually enjoying the process, which is different from the idea of digging. Like those two are very different feelings. Like I'm digging, I'm stretching out, I'm doing the whole thing, and then I'm kind of singing my way. I'm whistling while I work, maybe.
Now Baraka is not only friendly to the concept that jazz informs poetry, but he's sort of a major proponent of that idea, to say the very least. So we have the word scat and we have the word dig. So I guess this is a chance for you to say something about the relationship between this kind of writing and the music, particularly the black music that he admires.
Well, Baraka's always invested in putting in those same rhythms and that same, almost like improvisational. There's no way to really call writing improvisational, but I think the tone he uses, the rhythm he uses, and the quick kind of moves in subject matter and in style that Baraka embraces really are tuned into a jazz sensibility.
And A.B., note to A.B. So some people have suggested A.B. is A.B. Spellman, who is a jazz critic and a friend of his. But more likely,
Amiri Baraka.
so it's a note to self.
Yeah, and to his chosen name, too.
Yeah, that's right. Gabe,
Catching up.
thanks.
Thank you.
This was good.
Yeah.
If you liked this episode, watch another and subscribe.
And join us for ModPo, a free and open course at modpo.org.